A London-based group calling themselves the Muslim Patrol has finally managed to flip my annoy me switch. And now it's on. Anyone who so much as suggests that Western nations should guard our core values against the demands of Sharia is immediately met with charges of racism, bigotry, and yawn Islamophobia. Certain Muslims in the UK have been so thoroughly encouraged by the outright cowardice of our leaders and the media, they've started patrolling the streets of London to enforce Islamic law.
Remove yourself away from the mosque. Go away from the mosque now. Muslim Patrol. Muslim Patrol.
And cover up these naked women. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
We call it, obviously, to not dress like that in Muslim area. This is a Muslim area.
This is a Muslim area. No drink in this area, this is Muslim area.
Okay? Vigilantes implementing Islam upon your own necks.
There's a new sheriff in town. Unfortunately, he's so busy worrying about people drinking beer that he just can't find time to stop the rampant sexual abuse of young British girls by Pakistani rape gangs. So, having a pint? Haram. Gang raping 11-year-old infidels? Halal. Welcome to the bizarro morality of Islam. In the latest video, the Sharia Avengers harass a homosexual man for the way he's dressed and for wearing makeup.
Look at you, what's wrong with your face, mate? What's wrong with your face? Why are you dressed like that for? Why are you dressed like that for?
Why are you bothering me? I'm not
because you're walking through a Muslim area, dressed like a fag, mate.
So far, 5 Muslims have been arrested for carrying out their fatwa-fueled mission of bringing Sharia to the people of London. But let's face it, what exactly is the British legal system, sadomasochists of multiculturalism, going to do to a handful of Muslims who are just trying to follow their religion? I mean, this is the same legal system that allowed the Pakistani rape gangs to rape young British girls for years. Why? Because arresting the rapists might have made the Pakistani community feel uncomfortable. And a few dozen young girls is a small sacrifice to make on the altar of tolerance, isn't it? So, these 5 Muslims will be given warnings, or fines, or a few days of jail dawah, and they'll emerge, stoned out of their minds on the drug they call martyrdom, more confident than ever that the British government will stand in the way of Sharia about as much as the Afghan government will stand in the way of honor killings. Your leaders, O citizens of London, are as useful to your city as a broken traffic light. That's where I come in. You see, there's only one way to dissuade a band of wannabe jihadists from imposing Sharia on a local population. You have to plant deep into their hearts the fear that their actions will ultimately lead to the ridicule and degradation of their prophet. They're not scared of a slap on the wrist, but they are scared of a slap on their Islamic self-esteem.
As you know, Allah says in the Quran, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. That you are the best nation, not because you sit inside a masjid, rather you command the good and you forbid the evil.
Let's take a simple example. Obviously, I wouldn't be allowed to walk through one of the Muslim-patrolled areas of London because I've managed to squeeze this 240 pounds of awesomeness into the only garment in my wife's dresser stretchy enough to hold it. But this raises an important question. If I'm not free to walk down a street guarded by Sharia stormtroopers, who else would be harassed and exiled if he showed up in London nowadays? Jesus wouldn't last very long. He used to hang out with tax collectors and alcoholics and prostitutes. They were drawn to him, not the sort of crowd that would be welcomed by a group of Sharia-philes. Plus, Jesus is a Jew, and we don't need Scotland Yard to figure out how well that would go over. Even more interesting, if Muhammad himself were to walk through one of these Sharia-clad no-go zones, he would be chased off the street faster than you can say cross-dressing prophet.
See the pretty girl in that mirror there. Who can that attractive girl be?
Let's look at a passage from Islam's most trusted source on the life of Muhammad. This is Sahih Bukhari, number 2442 in the Aisha Bewley translation. I'll post a link to the complete hadith in the description box of this video in case you'd like to read it. In this passage, Muhammad's 9 wives are feuding with each other because his favorite wife, his child bride Aisha, is getting special privileges. She's receiving more gifts than the other wives. So some of these disgruntled wives get together and decide to ask Muhammad for equal treatment. Here's Muhammad's response. Do not injure me regarding Aisha. The revelation does not come to me when I am in the garment of any woman except Aisha. Did you catch that? The revelation, Quranic revelation, does not come to me when I am in the garment of any woman except Aisha. In other words, don't complain about Aisha. Allah gives me revelations when I'm wearing Aisha's garments, but not when I'm wearing your garments. So Allah obviously favors Aisha over the rest of you. Now stop asking for equal treatment. This hadith raises a lot of questions, among them. What in the name of RuPaul is Muhammad doing wearing women's clothes?
I feel pretty, oh so pretty, that the city should give me its key.
The Muslim sources contain more than 30 references to Muhammad wearing women's clothing. I'll include several examples in the link I mentioned. The narration we looked at in Bukhari uses the word thawb, which is like our word garment in that it can refer to a man's garment or a woman's garment. But in context, it's the thawb of Aisha that Muhammad's wearing. Pretty creepy. Some of the sources, however, including Sahih Muslim, say that Muhammad was in Aisha's mirt, which refers specifically to a woman's garment, more like our word dress. The Arabic dictionary Al-Mujam al-Wasit defines mirt as a dress from wool or cotton that is used as an izar, or a cover, by a woman.
I feel charming, oh so charming. It's alarming how charming I feel.
How many levels of horribly disturbing do we have here? 1, Muhammad has a child bride named Aisha. 2, Muhammad has more wives than his own revelations allow. The Quran allows 4, Muhammad has 9. 3, he's not treating his wives equally, even though the Quran commands him to treat his wives equally. 4, Muhammad likes to dress up in women's clothing. 5, he receives revelations when he's wearing his child bride's dress. 6, he uses the fact that he receives revelations when he's wearing Aisha's dress as justification for giving her a special status over his other wives. And 7, Muslims are now patrolling the streets of London to enforce the revelations Muhammad received while prancing around in his child bride's nightie.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and gay.
And just when you thought things couldn't possibly get any creepier, we read in Musnad Ahmed, Muawiyah said, I saw the Prophet sucking on the tongue or the lips of Al-Hasan, son of Ali. For no tongue or lips that the Prophet sucked on will be tormented by hellfire. So, what would happen if the Sharia Schutzstaffel were to show up and find Muhammad dancing in the streets in his wife's skirt, sucking on the tongue of every random guy who comes along? What would happen?
Get out of here, you fag. Get out of here, mate. You bloody fag. You bloody fag. Don't stay around here anymore.
Poor Muhammad, cast out by his own people. What's that you say, Sharia fans? I should be more respectful and charitable when I discuss your beliefs? Look, I would love to be kinder and gentler in discussions about Muhammad. Unfortunately, respect and charity went out the window the moment you said,
We don't respect those who disobey God. We don't respect them.
I am so appalled.
We don't care if you're appalled at all.
Muslim patrol.
Muslim area. It's Great Britain.
This we don't care. It's not so Great Britain.
And now, my Muslim friends, we're going to play a little game. The game is called Tic Tac, enforce Sharia, and watch the new video I make about your prophet, Toe. The rules are simple. You harass someone on the streets of London, and I respond with a video about your prophet, sharing all of those humiliating little details you don't want people to know about. We can play as often as you'd like. Your sources are filled with fascinating information that I'd be all too happy to share with the world. So, come out wherever you are. Quit stalking people in the shadows like a bunch of prophet-peddling peeping toms, and try picking on someone your own size for once. As you can see, I've extended an olive branch to you by dressing up like your prophet, thoroughly humiliating. In the words of my cousin Vinny, I wore this ridiculous thing for you. Your move, my friends. Choose wisely.